Welcome to an introduction to public relations. Before we start to review the case study on ethical dilemmas, we're going to briefly explore the definition of public relations, its function, and how it works. In the 21st century, public relations as a field has grown immeasurably, both in numbers and also in respect. Today, the practice of public relations is clearly a growth industry. In the United States alone, public relations is a multi-billion-dollar business. According to recent data, the public relations field is estimated to have grown around 6.6% in 2023, with the global market size reaching approximately $108 billion. The world's largest public relations firms are all owned by media conglomerates, and they refuse to divulge public relations revenue, so we don't really know what their numbers are. The field is dominated by smaller, privately held firms, many of them in entrepreneurial operations. So here is the definition of public relations. Public relations is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics. So what is the process through which public relations might influence public opinion? Communications professor John Martson suggested a four-step model based on specific functions: research, action, communications, and evaluation. An easy way to remember his model is by using the word RACE, or the acronym RACE: research, action, communication, and evaluation. The key to the process is most definitely the second step: action. You can't have effective communication or positive publicity without proper action. Remember the word RACE to remember this model. Professor Sharp's 5 keys to harmony in PR are: honest communication for credibility, openness and consistency of actions for confidence, fairness of actions for reciprocity and goodwill, continuous two-way communication to prevent alienation and to build relationships, environmental research and evaluation to determine the actions or adjustments needed for social harmony. If we look at especially the first 3, the word that comes to mind is transparency. In order to create harmony in public relationships, there must be transparency. Let's get started with the PR dilemma case on Vladimir Putin. Ever since the first time he became president of Russia in 2000, Vladimir Putin, the Lion of Russia, has been a constant thorn in the side of the United States. Putin's periodic criticisms of U.S. imperialism, even while Russia pushed the boundaries of its power, and its almost impish provocations of U.S. presidents, harken back to an earlier era of Cold War between the United States and the old Soviet Union. Putin seemed eager to keep the flame of conflict burning. Because of Putin's personality and the actions that he had been taking since 2000, this brought up a concern. And this is why in 2006, when one of the world's most respected public relation agencies, Ketchum, agreed to represent Russia and its presidents to influence public opinion, many wondered if the agency had done the right thing. The Ketchum relationship started innocently enough, with the firm representing Russia's interests in hosting the Group of 8 meeting in St. Petersburg. Ketchum then helped Putin be selected as Time magazine's Person of the Year in 2007. But soon thereafter, things started going downhill for Ketchum and its client. Critics of the Russian government began turning up dead. In 2008, Russia fueled a war with the Republic of Georgia, a former USSR state. In 2013, Putin published an op-ed column in the New York Times that criticized the whole notion of American exceptionalism. In 2014, Russian-backed troops began a civil war in another former USSR entity, the Ukraine. The United States immediately responded with economic sanctions against Russia and its leaders, and the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations called Russia's actions in Ukraine a threat, all of our peace and security. Ketchum, which from 2006 to 2012 was reportedly paid almost $23 million in fees and expenses on its Russia account, began to feel the heat. The firm cut back its staff assigned to the Russian account and generally kept a low profile. So, what is the debate? Representing controversial entities versus facilitating communication? That is the question. And what is Ketchum's defense? Facilitating communication helps in the long term. The critique was that they appear to be disguising human rights issues and invasions. Ketchum, it must be said, wasn't the only public relations firm representing questionable foreign governments and leaders. Over the years, public relations firms have represented a host of U.S. antagonists, from Libya's Muammar Gaddafi to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Indeed, some public relations professionals argue that representing a controversial nation and its president is akin to representing a company that sells arms or cigarettes. Is there a difference? Again, some public relations professionals argue that representing a controversial nation and its president is akin to representing a company that sells arms or cigarettes. For its part, Ketchum defended the Russian relationship, said its senior manager on the Russian account, where we can help facilitate communication at the end of the day, that can only help. One former Ketchup executive, Angus Roxburgh, who left the agency and wrote a book in 2011, didn't seem to quite agree. He said that in signing up for lucrative fees from Russia and working for Kremlin leaders, it meant helping them disguise all the issues that make it unattractive: human rights, invasions of neighboring countries, etc. So here are the questions for you. Should PR firms represent controversial figures or governments? How can PR professionals navigate ethical challenges? Where should the line be drawn between profit and principles? What do you think? Conclusion: public relations wields significant power in influencing global perception. The case of Ketchum and Russia highlights the complexity and responsibility of the field. Ethical practice is essential to maintaining credibility in public relations. So we do need to consider some points. Despite its lingering problems in attaining leadership status, finding its proper role in society, disavowing spin, and earning enduring respect, the practice of public relations has never been more valuable or more prominent. In its first 100 years as a formal, integrated strategic thinking process, public relations has become part of the fabric of modern society. So let's take a look. Importance in modern society. Take a look at these principles. What is the role over communication? What is it that happens in this world? of chaotic communication, really social media driven world. Despite challenges like disavowing spin and gaining societal respect, PR has become a vital practice. In its first century, PR evolved into a formal strategic thinking process. These are important points to consider. PR helps managers build support for their beliefs, their values, and their commitments. Advisors in PR must understand public attitudes, needs, and aspirations. PR for advocacy and grassroots movements. Effective PR strategies empower civil rights leaders, labor advocates, and grassroots movements. Proven communication techniques build attention, support, and goodwill. Credibility in PR requires consistent effort. It cannot be bought or quickly earned. PR cannot mask harmful policies. Truthful communication is essential during crises. A well-functioning PR department acts as an organization's conscience. PR's role often strains relationships with other departments like legal, HR, and marketing. PR has unique access to management and significant potential for influence, so the relationship of PR within the organizations has to be strategic. Public sentiment and PR's power. Abraham Lincoln emphasized the power of shaping public sentiment in driving change. Public relations influence extends beyond communication, enabling the success of statutes and decisions. So, what is the difference between public relations versus marketing and advertising? Marketing and advertising aim to promote a company's product or service. Marketing focuses exclusively on that process of production to the customer buying the product. So it is based on the financial gain to the company. PR focuses on building a positive reputation, managing public perception through media relations and storytelling, interacting with the public in ways outside of immediate financial objectives. So very important again to remember that while both public relations and marketing advertising aim to promote a company, the key is in their focus. While PR focuses on building a positive reputation and managing public perception through media relations and storytellers, marketing and advertising directly promote products or services to drive sales through paid channels like ads and campaigns. Conclusion. No matter how we define public relations, the practice of public relations has become an essential element in the conduct of relationships for a vast variety of organizations in the 21st century. It cannot be ignored, neither can it be defamed. I would like to conclude our lesson with a quote by Abraham Lincoln, which I mentioned earlier. Public sentiment is everything. With public sentiment, nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. He who molds public sentiment goes deeper than he who executes statutes or pronounces decisions. He makes statutes or decisions possible or impossible to execute. Thank you for your time. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation, and I look forward to getting to know you this term.